So as we're planning to drive towards Iona Beach for a short test of the new GoPro I have acquired. Woo, that sound. So yeah, the video should be much better quality, and this is in preparation for the reviews. I'm also testing out the angle. I think that's a pretty nice angle from like previewing it. At least you can see the car, you can, you know, see the outside pretty well. You don't see my face that much, maybe for the times that I'm driving with passengers. Maybe then I'll have my other GoPro here in the front so that you may see us as well, converse. Maybe not, I mean, it's more about the driving in the car. Oh, I love the downshifts here. But I'm also doing this video to test out the audio. Now I am still planning to get the binaural, I forgot how it's called, but that fancy microphone that records spatial 3D sound. So that's like, oh, that's a nice Vet, and that's a nice WRX right there. You see, I don't even have to do meets. We always have cool cars driving about here. That Audi wants to take the lead. Okay, I'll let it. I'm not in a rush. So this is how it sounds with a little bit of the windows down. I wanted to record some of these nice downshifts. Let's do one more downshift before we turn to the right, with the windows partially down, and then we'll close them and see how well you can hear me, and hear how well you can hear me. I mean, you cannot really see how well you can hear, right? If I'll bring those down, and obviously the sound of the engine is way more subdued, but maybe like this I can speak a little bit more about the car during my reviews. So like, you know, all the garbage that you can Google yourself anyways, like this car having this much torque and this much this many horsepower powers. But yeah, for the most part, these reviews will not be about the cars themselves. Maybe, well, they will be about the cars for sure, but I want to bring sort of a RBCCM perspective to it, where I talk to the owners a little bit more and then ask them what they think about the car, because, you know, I can give my own impressions from driving it for like half an hour or so, but I mostly want to hear more about the community itself, and things like what they like about the car, what they might not like so much about the car, what is their car journey, so to speak, like what other cars have they owned in the past, what projects or like dream cars they might have in the future and stuff like that. So that will give you a broader perspective on not just the car, because we have plenty of cars, but we have our own community, which is the more unique part of it. And for me, RBCCM right from the get-go was more about, you know, bringing people together. So if you hear someone who has like a similar car to yours or a similar story to yours, maybe in a subsequent meet you might step up to that person and like strike up a conversation. And in my eyes, that would have been like an achievement of RBCCM's goal, so to speak. So right now we're enjoying the great weather in Richmond, so that's pretty nice, since we do have an upcoming cruise. I was wondering with myself if I should like just go out and do that route again and maybe record that and share that with you guys before we actually head out. But last time I did that, I did it like last week, and the conditions weren't great at all. When you go down, you know, that path during these hours, like 4 p.m. in the afternoon, it's just loaded with commuters going, you know, to work or from it, and lots of trucks, so it's not as fun. I ended up like just being in a lot of traffic. Hopefully it won't be as bad. Well, not hopefully, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be not as bad on Sunday morning. So I actually got a message from a guy who's contacted me about getting, oh, I don't need to take the turn here, about getting some of the nice little decals we've created for the group. So I have to get back to him, although I'm not sure where I can stop in here. I don't know. Let's see, let's take the ride here. You'll still be able to hear the noise of this beautiful 5.0, even with the windows closed. There's a Mustang there in front. I have not seen this one before. I think I'll just turn on that into that little park. I forgot what it's called before you take the turn into Iona. You'll see what I mean in this video. But yeah, hopefully this one records audio a little bit better than the previous one. Well, I hope, because that other GoPro, I think it's 4, is pretty much garbage. And I got the 8. I know the 9 is out, but like video quality and the features that they have on it are basically the same. They have a few, like they have a bigger battery, which is kind of nice, but I ended up like buying a really sweet bundle from that's a nice little Acura there, really nice bundle from Costco, which had double batteries, a little stick, I think it's called El Grande, and yeah, a bunch of other features. This is another WRX going there, pretty cute. I won't use nice, but yeah, I ended up going with the 8. That's what I mean to say. Video is the same, and I got it for a very nice price at Costco. Maybe sometime down the road I'll get the 9, so then I'll be able to like put both of them to use. Why not, right? I might be able to like stick one in the back. That's what I'm actually planning to do in this cruise. I'll just put my camera like I'm doing now, looking ahead. But that's kind of dumb because I'm leading the pack in these cruises, and you get to see nobody for the most part. And I decided that, well, on the Sunday's cruise, I'll use that suction cup thing, and I'll stick it on the back end of my car so that I'll be able to take some footage of you guys following. So that'll be pretty sweet, I believe. Let's stick it right here because I need to see if that guy wants to meet today and get some of those nice banners. So if you take a right turn here, there's a sweet little park in here where I think people can bring their little boats and take them down to Fraser River, right between Richmond and Vancouver. The land you'll see across from this small inlet, I don't know if it's an inlet, but across from Fraser River is actually Vancouver, because right now we're on the YVR Airport Island. I'm not really sure if it has like its own name, but this is this nice place. We might actually bring our club in here one day. See these cones? Oh, it's so tempting to like just do some donuts in here and drift. I did do that a bunch of time ago with my Miata when there was way less people in here, and it was a lot of fun, but it was still a bit wet, and I ended up like making a mess out of my Miata, which is also my wife's car. She almost killed me when I did that. but I washed it and it's all good. So let's park like this and have a look at that message from that guy. All right. Actually, didn't want to turn on the engine. All right, let's see. He wants to meet tomorrow, no problem. He wants to buy 4 actually. If I'm already here, let me show you. I have my stash right now. They're right here. Oh. I have a bunch in blue. It's hard to say because it has like, it's hard to see the nice color of it, but because it's covered from both sides, right? And I have the white. Make sure if you never, used these decals before, never pasted them on your own. I also posted like a small video tutorial that I followed from some guy, and it's fairly simple. He gives out like 2 methods. One is like for longer decals, and one for like squarish decals, I guess. I actually found the squarish decal method to be a little bit easier because like cutting with scissors was a little bit awkward for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me show you. Look at the GoPro right now. It's sitting. Oh, it's sitting on this on my passenger's car seat. All right, let me show you how it looks like. Apparently they, that's pretty much it. All of this kind of dirty, especially this, like when you ceramic parts, it's much easier to maintain, like to wash it occasionally, but then if something is left wet, whether it's rain or just from washing it, if you don't wipe off that water, I want to make the Miata look like that too. I found a really nice wrap. Kind of matches it. All right, let's put it back in place. Should be fine. My battery is kind of low, but it's okay. Now I'll head out to London Drugs. Gotta buy something small there for the missus. And that's pretty much it. I guess you'll remain with me until the battery runs out, which is pretty soon, I guess. Let's point our GPS to home and get out of here. Let's put exhaust to, let's put it into track mode. And I'll let the Bullitt do the talking. Bring the windows down a little bit so you can enjoy the music. Woo! Quirky little thing. Automatic downshift, so I don't have to heel toe in my Miata like I do in my Miata. I guess you could like turn it off and then do it yourself, old school style, but the car does it so much better than me. So I don't really see the point. If I do want to have it like very analog and old-fashioned, old school, I'll just take the Miata. All right, let's give her. Down a bit. Oh man. I'll talk a little bit more about it more extensively in my review for the Bullitt, but this car single-handedly made me like fall in love again with manual transmissions, because I've had like automatics for the longest of time. Like this is my first manual transmission vehicle that I actually own. The first car I drove or learned to drive on was my teacher's. Like it was a long time ago, and it was, I think, a Skoda Octavia, and I got my license and I knew how to drive manual, but then I like drove my dad's car and stuff like that, and never really gotten around to go back to manual transmissions. So I kind of like didn't really think much of it. I mean, like who really buys manual transmissions anymore? So then I got my first sports car, and that was Mustang EcoBoost, which is actually a pretty nice car, and I love that a lot. Only I hated that it was pretty mute and didn't make any sound at all. You could hear like the tires on the road stronger than you could hear the engine, kind of like almost like a Tesla, really. But it was a really nice and fun car to drive, really fast too. But it was an automatic, and that's what I was used to. And when I decided to upgrade to a V8, I was done with that engine, or with that exhaust, I should say more. There was this great opportunity for me to get the Bullitt for a really good price, and I couldn't say no to that. But man, I was very anxious about, you know, going back to manual, and will I be able to like control it and all that, because going from like 310 horsepower to basically 500 is a bit intimidating. So when I got into the dealership to see the vehicle, they offered me to take it for a test drive, and I refused to do that. I said like, no, I'm good, I can do it later, because I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of the, you know, salesperson. I'm gonna stall it, I'm gonna, I don't know, fucking run into the wall or anything like that. So yeah, I ended up buying it before even test driving it, and when it was time to drive it back from New Westminster back to Richmond, man, I was sweating buckets, because it was my first time driving a manual ever since I learned how to drive a car. So I was like anxiously trying to catch up with watching freaking YouTube tutorials, and yeah, and I drove this monster, this beast of a vehicle back home to Richmond without really knowing what I was doing, and I ended up doing a pretty decent job, and I didn't stall it once. But man, I was so nervous. And then I just went outside every night and practiced in parking lots. I actually stalled it quite a bit after, you know, my first drive back, when I started feeling a little bit more comfortable and more, you know, more accustomed to driving it. I was trying out like faster shifts and going, you know, starting the vehicle from standstill a bit faster with the clutch. So I did end up stalling it a bunch of times, but now I'm accustomed to it, and it's, man, it's so much fun once you get through that, you know, learning curve, and you truly learn to appreciate your connection to the drivetrain, if that makes sense. And I wouldn't have it any other way going forward. I mean, I hope I wouldn't have to, but seeing how like vehicles just go away from manual transmission more and more, it'll become like a niche little thing for newer vehicles. So yeah, and compared to the Bullitt, the clutch on the Miata, the transmission is way easier. It's really a perfect car to teach someone to drive stick on, and I'm actually teaching my wife. I taught my wife how to do that on the Miata. The Mustang manual transmission is not really a good beginner's stick shift car. I mean, it could be, but it'll take you more longer than with a car like a Miata, I guess. The clutch is like not very linear. I ended up actually like replacing the clutch spring here with an aftermarket one, and it's very heavy, and the stick is very notchy when it's cold. It's a rough ride for a beginner, I mean. But once you like know what the car wants, how you should push it, how you should like shift, it's so good. It's, yeah, I'm in love with this one. If you can't already tell from, you know, my from the tone of my voice. And I'll get back to this car when I'll do the reviews for this ride. And I think that's it. That'll probably be the ending for this video.